this year is sponsored L'Zeich Nishmas Yeshaya ben Shmuel Yaakov. The learning should be Aschos Nasham Shtav Aliyah. Now, I realize that if we're going to have to start moving past the first pasuk, so we'll finish. I won't jump from where I was. I'll continue where we left off last week. But you can't. Some yeshivas, they learn the same few lines in the Gemara for a whole zman, but we can't learn the first pasuk in Chumash the whole zman. So we're gonna move past and Amen Hashem. We'll have to pick out what we can talk about. But last week we left off. We were in the Arachayim HaKadosh on the first pasuk, and we were discussing the idea that the question he's dealing with, all the Rishonim we deal with already, that it sounds like the Eibishter created the world in 6 days, means six different steps. And really we know that it was B'dibur Echad, the Eibishter created the world. So what the Arachayim and other Rishonim answer is that really the Eibishter created everything in that first Vayihi, and everything was all mixed up in its makar and all over the place. And then afterwards, what happened was, HaKadosh Baruch Hu went and he separated it from its place, like we're going to see. Let's say the first day, he separated the Ar and the Chayshach, and the second day, the Mayim Al-Yonim, and he created the Shemayim, the Aretz, and that was all separately, but after everything was created right away. And we were stopped exactly with our Chaim HaKadosh bring out that Eish is something that was created on the first Vayihi, but that wasn't brought out like Ar and Chayshach and the Mayim was separated, and the plants and the fruits and the animals. That wasn't brought out, and it stayed in its makar for a specific purpose. For what was that purpose? That when it's needed, it should be brought out. And it seems, and we'll say it, we were reading it in the time of Menhagim, but our Chaim HaKadosh also brings this down, and it's a medrash, that on Matzah Shabbos, he says this over here in the time of Menhagim, in Taf Reish Yud Dal, and Taf Yud Dal, I'm sorry, in Yanei Shabbos, that there's a medrash Haggadah that Adam Rishon saw the Chayshach on Matzah Shabbos. He was kicked out of Gan Eden, and he was in this world, and it was dark. And he felt very bad that he made the world dark. Because of him eating from the Eitz Hadas, now the world had darkness. V'nasan HaKadosh Baruch Hu bina b'libai, the English to put the idea and the understanding, the Havana, into his brain, and he took two rocks and he rubbed them together and he created Or. Meaning when we have a creation, they come up with a new creation. It was all created, of course, from the Eibishter and Sheishis Mei Breishis. Just it's not brought out from its makar. Now they came out that there's that you can use a cell phone, right? So there's idea that wasn't out, but the Eibishter put the bina into somebody. That happens to me. I once heard it was a mistake. The guy who did it did it by mistake. Meaning everyone told him he's a meshugana. He was working for the army and he was creating something, and he didn't have enough knowledge to be able to know that it shouldn't work. So he went ahead and did it, and everyone was laughing at him, and he created this idea that we use, that now technology itself uses, which again is all the Eibishter, and he wants things created at whatever time. The famous verse from the Chavetz Chaim, which really shows how weak we are as a generation. Chavetz Chaim says that every time one of these new ideas get created, he was talking about the telegram, or moving up from there, the telephone, or the idea of having like the Middle East to call it videos that will be eventually videos, and now we keep moving up, is all because our weakness and emunah. We have a hard time believing that the Eibishter is watching us. The Eibishter can see everything that we do, and as we break down in our understanding and Havana and Amunah, so something else is created on a higher level, that now we know you could be in your house and somebody could see you as you're talking to them. Now we know that there's recordings of everything and everywhere, and that's all that we should really bring it to the fact that the Eibishter is watching us and sees us on every second of the way. But all these creations have a cheshbon, whether we understand it or not, and sometimes when it's done by mistake, my havana is that we shouldn't become such bali gaiva, we shouldn't decide it's us, kaichi baitzim yadi, but it seems like they do anyway, even after that. But so over here, the Eibishter left it in its place, and Adam Arisha needed chizuk, so he created Eish by rubbing two rocks together. And because of this, Matzah Shabbos, we light Eish and Avuka, and we say Boirem Yara Eish. Now, beforehand, he brought down two other reasons that why when we light the fire on Matzah Shabbos, you look at your fingernails and you say and you make the bracha and you look at your fingernails. So what's the reason that he brings? The first one he says because it's the fingernails keep growing, so the fingernails are going to prove that just like the fingernails don't stop growing, so too we shouldn't stop growing. And also he brings down that there was some idea that the fire was coming out of Adam Arishan's fingernails, and therefore when we say the Bayram Eish, we look at our fingernails. Now, and he says Oitam that on Matzah Shabbos the ruchos are mispashet ba'olam, the bad spirits come out to the world. And by us looking at our fingernails through the fire, so we're so to speak taming these bad spirits, and we're making that they don't come to us. And therefore, you're supposed to be mistakel. And this is where we a little bit left off how to do this looking at the fingernails. So what he brings down is that you first a sheet of that, and we'll see this in the Mishabura. The first sheet is that you look at the fingernails in the back, because somehow this is because it says that the or from Shamayim, we can only see the back of it, right? Panai lo reisi, and all you can do on this world is that you can see the reisi as achayra. And because of that, somehow we're symbolizing that we're looking at the back of our fingernails. And then he brings down that could be really what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put the back to the front, and now you're looking at the back from the front. And what I said was that your thumb is supposed to be covered over. So the way let's see how the Mishnah Berurah says this. That the Mishnah Berurah says over here it's in Taf Reish Tzadik Ches. I believe Taf Reish Tzadik. I'm saying Reish Tzadik Ches, not Yandam. Reish Tzadik Ches. Reish Tzadik Ches Siv Gimel. Noigim Estakel beKapos from the back of your hand. Hayadayim B'Tziparnayim. Hagav Yesh Lirois Tziparnay Yad Yamin. Dafka the right hand. Uloiches Hakois Biyad Small. Yemen Havdala. You're holding it in your right hand. Now, when you're looking at your fingernails, you switch the kois from your right hand to your left hand, and you look at your right hand. V'yesh lekafaf etzbois letoich hayad. You bend your fingernails inside. Shazu ra tziparnayim im hakapos yadim. You can see that and the palm of your hand together. B'vas achas v'lo yira pana pnei etzba apnimis. But you should not see your thumb while you're doing this. And he quotes a Zayar in Parashas Breishis, which is the same thing we're quoting over here. That you're supposed to see. Now, why we do this? We have to be nana. We're making a bracha. You have to be nana from the R. You can't just make a bracha without being nana. The way you be nana is not ahana of stam having light, or not when you light for someone zechen ishma somebody, or the ner tamid, or any of these things. That you're not being nana. You have to have a nana, but like where you count money in front of it. So this, you see the difference in color between the fingernail and your hand, so you're using it and you're being nana from it, And what the Mishabura brings down is va'oid shetzi paranayim ain't siman bracha, like peri v'ruva, all these things that we just said in the time in Managim comes from there. And the Dawah al boys al gabi this, and then it says that you should open it and turn it over. So if you want to do it, not that if you don't do it this way you're not yotzer, but if you want to do it exactly right, you take the kais that was in your right hand, put it into your left hand, you fold it up, your 4 fingers over your thumb, and you then look at the difference in the light between your nail and your palm. Then you open it up and turn it over, and you see the back. This way, you're getting all the inyanim that come with seeing the fingernails, and that's a proper way.
Why was the kais in your right hand? Why was the kais in the right hand? You've been burning the thumb already.
Right, so you switched it already by the besamim. Okay, could be. I'm saying the besamim also. When you're making the bracha on the besamim, it should be in your right. It should be your right hand. So you switch it not by the bottom, you switch it by the besamim, and you leave it like that. Then you go back when you're making the hamav, back into the right hand. That would be the proper way to do it. Now we're not finished with all the proper ways. If you want to,
your right hand when you see the bracha.
Huh?
In your right hand when you see the bracha.
Wait, you said you started. No, when you said the Barim Yareish, you moved. No, yeah, because your hands are already supposed to be ready to be nana right away. Now but he's saying you're ready. He's right. You move it by the basam. If you think about the frontiers, right? Now you have to move it back and forth. Now the Lavush says why we look at the tzeparnayim, because which we're going to see soon in the Rashi, that when Adam Arishan was born, see, he didn't have any clothing on him. Right? He didn't have clothing on him, but he had, his whole body was like a fingernail. The same way we have fingernails, the whole guf was a fingernail. When he ate from the Eitz Hadas, it fell off of him. And now he was taka aram, and then it says, Mi higir l'cha sha'aram ata, who told you aram, hamena eitz asher, that did you eat from the Eitz Hadas? So when he ate from the Eitz Hadas, then that's when this fingernail fell off, and that's when he realized that he really is he's aram. So because of that, we look at our fingernails. Now, the Machzah Shekel says this thing that I told you, that first you start off like that, your fingers are bent in, and then you turn it to get all the things. Let's move on to the Tanya Menagim over here. Taf Tez Zayin. The tam shenoygen lishpoich min ha-yayin al ha'aretz. When you're making Havdala, in case you didn't know, and you want to do it all right, you should spill from the wine onto the floor. Now I'll just tell you a Ma'aseh Shaya. One second. I'll tell you a Ma'aseh Shaya. I was a bacher, and I stayed with somebody in the hospital for Shabbos. He was a mashgiach in yeshiva. And after Shabbos, he asked me if I could do him a favor when I get back home, if I could go to his house and make Havdalah for his wife and kids. So I said, sure. So I knew this Mishnah Berurah. So right away, I spilled a drop on his floor. I'm telling you, if his wife could kill with her eyes, I'd be dead. She was looking at me like she was ready to shech me. So then she asked me very, very kindly, because I helped them out, why exactly I did it. So I explained to her, what do you mean? So she says, but I don't know if when you get married, if your wife mops the floor, if you should do it. That was her nice way of telling me you just did the craziest thing in the world. So, but I'll go upon him. So what are we doing this for? If we're saying that it's going to create, we don't like to create shalom bayis problems, especially, so he says, it's a siman bracha. If you pour on the floor, it's siman bracha, it's a kedamrinan, kol bayis, she'enish bachen, boy, yayin kemayim, anybody siman bracha. That if you don't have a house that the water, the wine is spilling like water, there's no siman bracha. So it sounds like you have to have wine spilling like water and spilling on the floor. Now if you look on the bottom over here, he brings down in the Hagah, he says, that really, the idea is the opposite. The idea is, he says, Masha Amaloshin di Eved. It's Masha that it happened already. It's spilled. Dahainu shenishvach. V'lo yomer kol bayis she'ein shoifchin. It doesn't say she'ein shoifchin by mayim. It doesn't say any house that you don't go spill water. It says wine. It says a house that wine didn't spill, there's no siman bracha. Ella hakavanasa loyma shaloyis that Yishloi Yisroiges Adam bebeisai afilu and irloi hezek. The Heinish nishbach yayim l'shayim. Now, you see in halacha, wine was very, very expensive. So we, Baruch Hashem, have an abundance of wine. My Zegal Rosham told me that in the siddur, the venture that they had when they were growing up, before he came to America, by Kiddush, it didn't say Bayer Priya Government, it said Amaitzi, you had wine, you had money for wine. So you made Kiddush on Chalas, you didn't have wine. So wine was like the expensive, very expensive thing. Now, when something expensive spills, he says, that it happened already, you're not supposed to get angry. So you have to picture like when the Levi's thing came crashing down into a couple of bottles of schnapps spilled. So you're looking at the spilled, or maybe you have a very expensive wine that every ounce is worth a lot of money, and when that spills, you're not supposed to get angry. So and that's the house that's going to have a simon bracha because there's shalom. Which reminds me of a story that Shalom Shadron used to say over that one time he was by a house for Shabbos, and the guy comes in and he starts yelling at his wife, "Where's the cover to the challah? The challah is supposed to be covered. Where's the cover to the challah?" And he made a whole big deal that his wife forgot that. Don't you know there's a beferish halach, you have to have the challah covered. So when they went to wash, he walked over to him and he asked him, why do you know why we cover the challah? So he said, what do you mean? It says, "Shtaytich b'faydish." What are you talking about? It says you have to cover the challah. He says the reason is because we're scared that we're going to embarrass the chalas. Because over here you have kiddush and you're using the wine before the chalas, so you're going to embarrass the chalas. So you cover them; they shouldn't be embarrassed. So you just embarrassed your wife in order, but he didn't theorize. You just embarrassed your wife. He just left it at that. He said the guy didn't chap. Went right over his head. He didn't chap. Oh, so you see, there's a reason. That's it. I'm right. There's a reason you should have done it. So the idea over here we're saying is not that you go spill the wine, bedavka. If the wine spills, you shouldn't get upset. And that's the house that's going to have shalom. And I once heard from somebody who said a very good idea, that a person should take money and put it in a shalom account. Meaning you always have something that either breaks or something that's needed that shouldn't have been needed. It was irresponsible, and it's very hard not to get upset because lemaisa, you just went out and spent a lot of money on it, and it was in an irresponsible way that this got left on or whatever it was that got ruined. So he says you should have money already set aside. This is your shalom money, and if ever you have this thing and it costs another couple of $100, you take it out of that account. This is money that's already set aside for shalom, and that's what this means, that if wine spills, not that you have to bedavka. This symbolizes that when something spills, that you shouldn't get upset. So when something goes wrong, it's lav davka, talking about spill, that it should be, the person shouldn't get upset. That's what's going to bring shalom in the house, and that's what's going to bring bracha, and I'll explain that more when we get to that in the psukim. I'll explain more what the understanding. V'tam sheshayvchin mimenu ma'at ala shulchan, you pour a little of the wine on the shulchan in order to be able to put out the neighbors. Right? Now those who have a minute, that is what he's bringing down over in the time minhagim, that you take from your cup of wine and you pour a little bit on the we have something under the kais usually, onto the thing under the kais. Those days they did it straight off the shulchan. And now you could put out your fire in that wine that was spilled. That was spilled because you have to put out the nair right away. Today, using a lit candle looks like I'm doing it for Havdala. Back in the day when they lit candles to see, because they didn't have electric lighting, so as soon as I light the candle, it looks like I'm doing it not to see. It looks like I'm not to Havdala, I'm doing it to see. So I have to put it out right after Havdala to show that it was for Havdala and it was l'kavod the mitzvah. So therefore they used to pour some wine and put it out. I was in yeshiva together with the Manchester yeshiva's grandson, and he said his Zayda was makbid gomer, not to pour wine special to put out the fire, but if wine spilled in his kos, then he put it out. The other mamish baltashkas, and you don't take wine and pour it out in order to be able to put your thing out instead.
You poured the wine from the kos back in.
Huh?
You poured the wine from the kos back in.
No, on what that spilled. No, if
wine
spilled.
No, he drank. He drank.
He
And
drank.
Poured back in.
Could be. So you can't. So you're asking it's yayin pagam. So he's asking a question. What are you going to do? Let's say you don't finish it. He's going to drink it. So let's say you don't finish drinking it. So anyway, you have left over. So how are you allowed to put it back in? Because if you put it back into your bottle of wine, so now this wine is yayin pagam. You can't use it for any more thing. But if you take more wine, and put it into your kos, fresh wine. Now that kos is not called yayin pagam. Now you can put it back into your thing. And we're not talking about a house that other people.
We technically don't have to do this these days because we don't use.
Right, we technically don't have to do this special. I'm saying that could be my akdama why the Manchester Yeshiva was so makbid. When was doing it al the mitzvah, you needed it to show the mitzvah. So then could be there was such an idea to do it. But when you're doing it now, when you don't really need it anymore.
Why does it have to be done with wine? Why don't you just put a little bit of water?
You taka code. Why can't you just blow it out? So obviously it was an avuka, so it doesn't blow out so easily.
You can. The braided ones.
Right. That's avuka. Avuka means it's a few together. Right. So now afterwards, people have the minute to take the wine and put it all over themselves. There's really, he brings it down. You never saw people do it. The pockets and the things. So what's the aside? What are they doing? It's tam a joke. So basically, what he brings down over here is it's a chavivus of the mitzvah. You know, you see people taking out the esrog and they kiss their esrog. They take their matzah and they're kissing their matzah. So some people think they're crazy. Those same people are putting wine all over them because it's a shiur, you know, you're going to get it, you're going to make yourself smart. It was really a chavivus for the mitzvah. You're showing how chashuv the mitzvah is by you. Do you want to hold on to it? You want to keep it? You want to think it's the same idea of kissing it. The only problem I have is when the guy makes a bracha on his tefillin and he kisses he puts on the shalyad, then he takes out the shorosh, kisses it and puts it on. Why do I have a problem with that? I saw when Moshe Zachatzak putting on tefillin. I saw him putting on tefillin, and he used to put on tefillin. He put on the shalyad. He went like once around, held it, and put on the shorosh. Then continued. Why? And he didn't write this that everyone should do it, but this is what Ramesh himself did. Why did he do that? Because the bracha I make, l'haniach tefillin, is going on the shalyad and the shorosh. And this that we say a bracha al mitzvahs, a machlokes, and we say, you know, we afterwards we say Baruch Shem, but al kapanim, this same bracha can't have a hefsek. So really, there's no reason to go all the way around like we do. I'm not changing the minute. The minute is to go all the way around. And you teach you about mitzvah bracha to do it, tell him to do it the way your father taught you. I'm not saying different, but this is what Ramesh himself did. He did it once, held it in place, because now once it was affixed to his hand properly, it was a ready thing, and he didn't want to make a hefsek to do it while he's taking out while he's wrapping. This is even a hefsek. So for sure, to go stop to kiss the tefillin, which is a nice thing. It's a feeling, but that should be loigar than this hefsek. So this thing is the minute to do, you do. But stop to add other things that we're not supposed to do. But it was really a chavivus on mitzvahs. And it's a good thing to show chavivus mitzvahs. And it says he even brings down that they used to like drink the leftover water, dirty water from washing out the kais. That's how they just wanted to have shaykhs to the mitzvahs. They just wanted to have some type of connection. And from there came this idea that they put it on their forehead and the pockets and things like that. Now he goes right over here. Why isn't it? This is very negay because there's a big myth about this. I like talking about this. This is one of my favorite subjects. Why don't ladies make Havdala? And why can't they drink from the Havdala? So Marga Bapuma the Adam, that they're going to grow a beard. This is what they say, and there is no such makar. It's a straight up Baba Maisa, this thing, that somebody didn't want the kid to drink the wine. Right, just to stop them from drinking. So they told them they're going to, you try to stop somebody from drinking a girl, you tell them they're going to grow a beard. That might stop them. So I guess that's where it came from. But it's not the reason. The reason, Atam she'ein noshim shoysin kois shel Havdala b'pnei she'amar, that the eitz shechata boy Adam Arishan was a gefanoisa. The eitz hadas toivara that Adam Rishon ate from and Chava gave him to eat, that was a geffen, that was a wine. V'amar Melamed Soichta Anavim, she squeezed grapes, v'noiselai, and she gave him wine. Lafisha kavanasai lahavdil me Adam. The kavana was to separate her from Adam, and she should be with the nachash or whatever it was. Al hayayin ein nashim. The ladies don't taste the yayin shel Havdala. That's what the Shlach Kodesh says. Right tam mepnei shechava kava nura shel olam. The Chava, by giving him to drink from the Eitz Hadas, which was a geffen, according to Aman Yam in the Gemara, so then she put out the light of the world. It means Adam, if you understand, if you go through the Medrashim, which maybe we'll go through a little bit one week, the Medrashim of what Adam was before he ate from the Eitz Hadas, and what he became afterwards, he basically, the whole world changed. It also brought Misa into the world. There wouldn't have been Misa, it would have been the Chayil La'olam. And now he did, so she put out the light of the world, and therefore, she's not supposed to drink from the wines. I have a very simple question I was thinking about when I was looking at this morning, that if we know now that the Eitz Hadas was a geffen, so why don't we all become these geniuses, right? They were told, don't eat from the Eitz Hadas, because otherwise you're going to have, this is Mikol Teichel, otherwise you're going to have Das, and we drink wine, and people when they drink wine, they lose their Das usually. That's what happens from drinking. Now, the answer is that the Eibusher didn't say that. The answer is the Eibusher just said, don't drink. The Yetzer Hara is the one who said, because otherwise that this is the problem, that the reason is. So the Eitz Hadas could have been a geffen, and the Eibusher didn't want. Now I once saw in the Rishonim why we say the Makar is saying l'chayim, right? Well, why do we say l'chayim when you take a drink? Because all problems in this world come from drinking. The Eitz Hadas was from drinking. There's so many different things throughout. By Noach, after the Teva, with the whole thing with Aruk Canaan, was from drinking. Whenever drinking brings all types of things. So we see a guy drinking, we're so worried about him, we give him a bracha l'chaim. Hopefully he won't die from this drink. So that's really the makar to say, and this is from the Rishonim that say this. Now, so the kids, so this is the reason. So let's just see the halacha about ladies making Havdalah, because this becomes a big to do. So that you have to go back to Siman Reish Tzadik Vav, and over here it says in Sif Tes, Noshim Chayeves B'Havdalah Keshem Shechayeves B'Kiddush. A lady is mechuyev, and over here it's saying the same din that I have to make Havdalah, a lady has. Says the Meshura, Afal Gav that mitzvah Shazman Grama. What do you mean? Mitzvah Havdalah is Matzah Shabbos. Right? It's a mitzvah say Shazman Grama. So the Chayro, she should be potter, because since it becomes the Bedin Shabbos, Ish V'Isha Shabbat. When it comes to Hilcos Shabbos, when it comes to things on Shabbos, a lady and a man are equal. And the Kiddush is Zachar V'Shamar, and therefore a lady is also in, whoever's in the Shamar Shabbos is in the Zachar Shabbos. So Mamela, she has to make Kiddush. Havdalah Nami B'chlal Zacharu. Because the din is you have to make a Kiddush in the beginning of Shabbos and a Kiddush at the end of Shabbos. And that's Havdalah. Mamela, a lady is Mechuyev in Havdalah. So really a lady has a regular Chiyav Havdalah. And just like if a lady didn't have Kiddush, you can make Kiddush for her again. So too, if a lady didn't have Havdalah, you should be able to make Havdalah for her again. So Nashim Chayeves B'Havdalah, Kashem Shechayeves B'Kiddush. V'yesh Misha Chaylik. However, there are those that argue and that say that Matzah Shabbos already, since it's after Shabbos, so you don't say, even though we learn out to make Havdalah from Mekachim and Chilas and Mekachim and Seifei, Afal Pikein, Svirlei, the Havdalah, Kivan Shil B'Chol, Ein Toli, B'Inyanei Dinei Shabbos, V'Havei B'Chlal Shar Mitzvah Shazman Grama, the Nashim B'Tules. So Mamela, therefore, we don't want you to be mavda for a lady because it's already becomes a Safek Brachas. We don't like making a Safek Brachas, so therefore we don't want you to be mavda for a lady. Says Ramah, a lady lo yavda la'atzmai rak yishma havdala me'anashim. Therefore lo yavda la'atzmai. Why? Because because since there's a suffix, stamazay, if she's mechuyev or not, so it's better to her to be yoytze from somebody who's zicha has a chiyuv. V'hina lefima shekasav ha'magen Avram le'al b'sav cotton dalid the noyeg nashim shaloi lishtois mikais Havdala. Ladies have the minhag not to drink from the kais Havdala. Imkain b'la'avachi. Without this whole shiur that I'm telling you with suffix brachas and all that, you can't kol ha'tamim halalu. She can't be Havdala atzmeh, because who's going to drink the Havdala? She can't drink the Havdala. So mainly you can't make a bracha and not drink the Havdala. V'haloi eini yachaylu lishtos mekais v'chein kasava bal derech hachayim ella kavanas ha'magen Avram lahakol v'she'ein la mi lotzes de'oz bal karchach Havdala atzmah. So what is Magen Avram saying she should make Havdala herself? Is because if there's taka nobody else, the Maisa we hold she does, so she make a Havdala atzmah v'tishta and she should drink. Kedei shaloi tevatel mitzvah Havdala, because we don't want it to be. So bottom line, we're coming out of Lachla Maisa, which is something that people don't know, that a lady at the end of the day, if she doesn't have someone to make Havdala for her, she can make Havdala for herself. But it's better to listen from the men. But if the men already made Havdala atzman, or they were in the Beis HaKnesses, they used to make Havdala in every shul after Shabbos. They already lo yavdal kedei lahitzia.
She have to go to her neighbor if no one owns.
Right. So then if the ain't sham zacharim gedolim oy ketanim, then you shouldn't make it. And she should make Havdala for herself. Tafkir kal yachal avdal. Even though be'etzem you could say you could make it for her, l'maisa you should make it. No, cotton should not make it for her. Oh, that's a good question. Here's a good question. He says a very simple question. What's the problem? What do we do in the 9 days? What do we do on a time period? We have a country, so the same eight over. You have a lady make Havdala, and then afterwards have a cotton drink it.
She's technically allowed to drink. Why should she give it to someone else?
Because there's no reason for her to drink.
You're allowed to make a bracha.
Yeah, but we
like,
said it's
you're
not a problem. The
interested,
drinking's not the
you're
problem. We came out the drinking's not the problem.
Well, if you make Kiddush in shul, so you give it to the cotton over there. It's not
So Rabbi Lunch is answering you. Because this was only, anyway, it says you have a problem with them drinking it. But there's not a suffix if they're mechuyev or not. So on the side that they're not mechuyev, they should better hear from a bar chiyuv. But l'mayis, if they're stuck, hayom they're stuck, now they're stuck. They're making Havdala. Should they drink it or give it to cotton? Why not give it to cotton?
When she's making it, she may as
Plus
well
also
make
have
it.
another eitzah for them. Why don't they drink coffee, Chamar Medina? We don't like doing it on Chamar Medina because Chamar Medina changes from time to time. But I think if you go around America and you see, I'm saying he paid for this coffee. I don't want to ask him how much. Right? It seems that
It's more expensive than wine.
right. It seems that that coffee today should be a Chamar Medina without getting it. So why don't I'd rather know a lady that was a almana and she was making on coffee because she didn't want to bother her neighbors or whatever. She didn't want to come on to people, but she didn't chap that she has to make a shahakal instead of her pigafel. She's reading the venture and she read the thing and like punk. She was buying me for one Shabbos and she came up in conversation that it's taka, you could do it on coffee, but you should just make a shahakal, and she was shocked. But al kapanim, the main reason is because of the Savik bracha. So therefore, a lady l'chadchila should hear from somebody else. If she has to make Havdala, she can make Havdala. There's no one else to drink, so I would say it's taka better for her to make it a Chamar Medina. This way you don't run into all these problems. So let's just finish up the Archaim and go to and move on. So Archaim Hakadosh, after this goes the Hein Emes that the Eibishter could have made the whole Bria in one thing, and that's it. So he says in Kashan, Hey man, Yachol l'chol b'mayim rishon gam es haseder. Why did the Eibishter make? We said, how did the Eibishter make the world? He said, Vayihi. Everything was there: the sand, the earth, the fire, whatever was there. Every single thing was there. And then afterwards, on Yom Rishon, he made the chosh. He separated the chosh and ar. On Yom Sheni, he took the mayim. Al Yoyim Mayim Tachtonim. He made the aretz. He went through. Then afterwards, the taninim, the fish, the plants. He went through each thing each day. Why didn't the Eibishter do that all in one big creation? The same way he divided up. It's not like, this is as much as he could do. He could have made everything happen, all the 6 days of creation, all in that first Vayhi, it all happened in the first second. He had no problem doing that, so why didn't he do it? So he says there's a lot of reasons. Rabbi Seinu tells us a lot of reasons, but he quotes the Mishnah in Avos Perikei, Mishnah Aleph. So what does it say over there? That the reason the Eibishter made it Basar Mamaras, Basar Mamaras Nivra Ha'olam. The Eibishter created this world with 10 different Mamarim. The Eibishter could have created this world in one Maimer and done everything. Ella lepareya min harashaim shema'abdim es ha'olam shenivra ba'asar mamaros. When a Rasha goes and he does Averis, he destroys this world. Now this is the concept that's a shtickle foreign from us. But when we look at ourselves as nothing. So I'm here in my room, nobody else around. I'm not doing in public. And I want to do a little Avera. Maybe a big Avera. I want to do Avera. Am I affecting the world? So we see clearly I'm affecting the world. And you see this also from this Gemara in Avodah Zarah on Daf Yud Zayin. The Gemara says, this is, without going through the whole thing, but it's the story of Rabbi Elazar ben Dudayu, and he wanted to do tshuva, he was a Sa'ir to do tshuva, and he says, and he starts off and he says, Haram Ukvayis, Bikshol Rachman. You know, I'm in such a bad shape, I did so many Averas, so the peaks, the high peaks and the mountains, Es Rachmanis, and they said, Amaloi ad shani mevakesh alecha nevakesh al atzmeinu. We have to ask on ourselves, because you, by doing your Avera, you destroyed us. That means you destroyed the world. Shamayim va'aretz b'kshol ha'rachman. They also told us that you destroyed the world by doing your Avera. Chamal levana b'kshol ha'rachman, the sun and the moon, and each one keeps answering him, the kachav, the stars and the planets, and they all said, you destroyed us, so we're in trouble now. We can't help you. We got to save ourselves. So you see from here, you see from this Mishnah and Avos, that when I personally, in my own Dalet Amos, nobody sees, nobody knows, doing Avera, I'm destroying the world. So in order to get that in Gehenna, we're going to get more Einish, the Eibishter created, that's what the simple translation of the Mishnah is, Lefareya min harasham shema'abdin es ha'olam shenivra b'asar mamaros. If the Eibishter created one ma'imar, so you imagine you work on something for a minute, and then someone comes and destroys it. Okay, you worked on it for a minute. I work on it for a week, and you destroy it. I work on it for a year. The more koiches that went into it. So the Eibishter made it b'asar mamaros. But the end of the Mishnah is really what the Archaim HaKadosh brings down. He brings down litein schar toiv l'tzadikim. That means we sat down this morning, instead of going off to whatever we're going to do today, and we sit down to learn, we're fixing the world. We're helping the world. The world is living because of that. And we're doing all types of things. So we can get schar for one maimer. But the Eibishter says, no, I'm going to give it b'asar mamarim. This way we get so much more schar. And every word of Torah is connected kol mitzvahs, right? But like we say every morning, it's connected kol mitzvahs. And stam, the schar is always 500 times more than the punishment. So the amount of a schar that we get for every second of learning, for every word of learning, just became 10 times more because the Eibishter made it b'asar mamaros, and therefore says Ar Chaim HaKadosh. That's one of the reasons. A lot of reasons, but that's one of the reasons. Litin schar toiv tzadikim. And you can ask the kasha to me. Basar mamaros nivra ha'olam lashon bria. How can you say lashon bria? We just finished saying it's apikursis to say that the Eibishter didn't create everything in the first second. The Eibishter created everything in the first second, and now we're saying no, it's still lashon bria. There's asar mamaros, and it goes through all the different mamarim. So.
When you can you just like trade it off? Like if you have more schar because it's 500 times more than any onish, can you just say, okay, I have 1,000,000 schar points and I have 20,000 onish points? Just
no, there are deals. What do you mean? That's what the judgment's about. Yeah, we are, and that's because
we're all destroying and creating at the same time. Then
right. So we hope that we end up on the right side of things with more schusim then that's exactly what the whole this world's about.
No, I'm saying, can you trade your
Yeah,
schar?
we are automatic. We don't have to do it. They do it. They do it for you already. Up there, they're making the cheshbonos.
Google Docs.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. That's why we want to keep doing mitzvahs. Fine. Now. So how can it say a lashon of nivra? The Torah says, when I create something, even though it was already here. Let's say I come up with a new invention. So that's called a creation. Even though there's nothing about this invention that wasn't in this world. So too, you could use the word that bara, even though it was already created, I'm allowed to use the word bara. So therefore we could say that on this day he created this, and that day he created that, even though it was already created, because the word bara is not a stira. Why does the Torah say the bria this way? V'loy kasav beferish. Baras Hashem es hamayim va'afar va'eish va'ruach shebezel lo yia ish. No one will come and make a mistake. Meaning, we started out this piece in our Chaim because last week that the question was that it looks like the Eibush made this world a yesh meyesh because there was already Bereshis bara lakim shamayim haaretz. It was already the components that you need for the shamayim haaretz, and now the Eibush created this world. But if that's the case, it's misleading, and a person could go make a mistake. So how could you go and put me in that situation that somebody's going to go make a mistake? So he says a few terutzim. Just one teretz. He says v'chavetz Hashem lahidia. The Eibishter wanted to tell me the koyach of that the Eibishter did and how he did it and the unbelievable things that the Eibishter did. So the fact that somebody's going to go make a mistake, he's not going to stop because some Rosh is going to want, or someone, he says, Shlo yimna toiv zeh b'shvil ha-shoytim ha-toyim. Because you have a shoyt that's going to make a mistake, the Eibush is not going to hold back on teaching me the proper way. V'oid yesh tam acher, he says a lot of other reasons, and he says over here one thing, which is a very good idea to understand, that the Eibishter ki loy chavetz Hashem b'davar sheker. The Eibishter didn't want shkarim. V'loy yechaven. In other words, he'd rather say it truthfully, which brings out the truth, even though that somebody could come make a mistake. Ki yisharim darkei Hashem tzadikim yelchu boy risham poishim boy. That means the Eibishter would rather tell it to me in a more truthful way, even though understanding that there's somebody going to come along and misuse this, or mislearn it, or not put the proper, not even on purpose, not put the proper koiches to go through it, and the thought to put it into perspective and to understand what's really going on. And I'm going to come out with a wrong understanding, Chas v'shalom, thinking that the Eibishter created the world a yesh miyesh, not a yesh mi'ayin, not from nothing. I'd rather that, but at least I'm telling you emes. The Eibush is telling you emes and not shkarim. And it goes on a lot of other reasons from there. But we have two reasons we're leaving off with. One is this reason that I'd rather bring out the points in a more chashuv way for the people that are going to get what it is out of it. And if some shaitan is going to make a mistake, what should I do? And the second thing is because the Eibush has to be chaysamash lakosh baruch hu emes, and he's going to tell me the emes even at stake of chas v'shalom, somebody taking it and misusing it. So I guess we're gonna stop over here for this week, and Med Hashem, I'm gonna try to move faster. We'll pick different things and focus on it.